Okay. Yo, I had to fix something just now. I was recording for a sec. Added a new thing. I'll show you here. I added a freeze spell. It's now replicated. Before, I didn't have the visuals getting replicated, but I'll show you in a sec once we're loaded. Okay, I need to increase the tolerance. It's too easy to cast. Recover. Okay. Alright, freeze. So it's based on Fireball. It's a similar effect. I just messed with the colors and changed things a little bit. Freeze. So it has no gravity. It's one actor that goes out and then hits, applies damage immediately, but then creates another little actor to do the effect afterwards. Freeze. If we hit each other, freeze. Your health increases the opacity of how hurt you are, but you also get a little debuff. Freeze. You can see how slow I am, and now I'm faster. Recover. And recover. Freeze. So here's normal speed. You can see me like this. And then you can see that I get faster. I wanted to take a... Recover. I wanted to take inspiration from Mage Arena, where... Mage Arena? I don't know where that came from. Actually, I have no idea what the tolerance is. Is it really low? It might be. Hold on. I gotta check to see how easy the word is to say. No, it's pretty easy to say. I'll put it on max though, just in case. I can test it in solo now. Freeze. 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 Good. It's harder to say, hopefully. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P. Alright, we're good. Recover. Cool. I want the spells to be, like, you have to enunciate and speak with purpose. So. What is it? Yeah, so freeze. So it increases your opacity because you're hurt, just like, hold on, once we're done here, recover. Fireball. When you get hurt, the opacity of this hurt overlay increases. Fireball. Increases? Oh, freeze, increase. Crease? Maybe I have to change specifically how freeze is said. Increase. Crease? Ease? Reese? Crease? Reese. Okay, Reese. Reese? Reese. Interesting. So somehow it's like increase like that. Something like that. It's a little confuzzled. Maybe I can mess with the phonetics and have it look for a more explicit freeze. Then it works. Freeze. So, the point here is this. Fireball. When you get hurt, fireball. Fireball. The more red your screen. If you're fully dead, fireball. Then this is as red as your screen will get, and then whatever. I'll have like some "you're dead" message or whatever, and then you respawn or something like that. Or maybe the round's over. I don't know how I'm going to structure the game yet. But this is that. The problem is, if I'm going to have to make the hands, or like the motion and how you step, really make you know that you're frozen. But in order to do that, I would have to increase how frozen you are. I'd have to make you pretty damn slow in order to know just from your animations that you're slowed. Or what's better is a wizard probably knows what magical effects he's under the effect of, right? He's currently being affected by. So what about this? Instead, there's regular damage, which is just like blood on your screen. Fireball. This is blood on your screen. Fireball. Fireball. Okay? Recover. Recover. But instead, what if we have a bunch of different effects that you might have? One of them might be that you're frozen, you're slowed. Freeze. You're slowed. So instead, we have the opacity increase to show that you're hurt. Right now, you are hurt. You are hurt. But temporarily, I'm going to have to fix the accidental stuff. Oh, my mic is also picking up extra stuff because I'm on this special mode. So that's probably why it's more likely to do this. It doesn't normally do that whenever, I don't think it's as common like that. How the hell did I say recover? So whatever. The point is I'm tying in the visual the effect that you are under the influence of, to the color of the damage that you're taking. So to your health. If your health is red and you're seeing this strong color, you're probably very hurt and you're maybe burning, depending on what the red is. Or let's say orange, then you're burning. Let's say it's blue, you're really hurt and you're slowed, you're frozen. Freeze, freeze, freeze. You're very hurt. It's hard to see the screen, kind of. And you're also slowed. And the slowing does not stack. It does reset the timer, though. So if you get hit once, and then you get hit again, and then you get hit again, the timer resets every time you get hit. But it doesn't keep stacking how slow you are, because that would just be busted. Recover. Recover. It wouldn't be, well, it would be busted. Even if there's a cooldown between casts, if multiple people hit you, you're immobilized. So that's just stupid. I think right now it's like I'm not sure. Let me see how slow I made it. Oops, what am I doing? That's the interface. I need the data table. We have here freeze, and it is 20%. Holy shit, to make it actually noticeable. So I think 20% is okay. It might be busted because you're probably guaranteed to get hit by whatever the next thing is, but maybe that's why you use the spell in the first place. So right now we've got like 6 or 7 spells. Again, the missile is not what it needs to be, but fireball, fire blast, invisibility, shield, fireball, recover, freeze, recover, freeze. I think that's all I have. Let's check. I don't know why why did I close the character? I never close this character. Alright, so we have fireball, magic missile, freeze. Need to fix the comment. Okay, it's a lot easier to implement than I thought. Kind of ish. Shield. All these are pretty small now. Oh, it's because I consolidated a lot of stuff. I made it so that you can get a distance right in front of the player to spawn this. These also should be spawning closer too, I think. Maybe, nah, I think it's okay. It's fine for now. It's okay. So yeah, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spells so far. This is all invisibility. I had an issue just now, and I had to think about some things. How the effect works is when a spell hits you, right now only freeze does this, but when freeze hits the player, it will call this interface called spell damage and effects, whatever, but it's called receive spell effect. And what it does is we pass in the name from whatever hit you, the name of the effect, the affliction, and it passes in how long it's going to be and what the value is. And depending on what it is, we handle the value differently. For example, if the value is 5 and it's burn, then maybe every tick we apply that damage value. So I use the value that way. And the duration is 10 seconds or whatever. And for freeze, the value is instead how much your speed is reduced by. So we check to see what the effect is so that I don't have to have a separate thing for each. One for freeze, one for this, one for this. I have one thing and I just switch so that it's not a bunch of different events. It's the same thing being called and we pass it the same information, but the information varies specifically on what the values are. So we switch, so we check the value and we say, hey, is the name freeze or is it anything else? In this case, it's freeze because it's the only effect you can get. And if we're already slowed, then we're just going to reset the timer. We're not going to stack the slowness. If we're not already slowed, then we're going to update the slowness and we're going to update whether we're frozen. And the reason that this is important is so we can, well, let's see. I guess I could do it. The point here is we need a way to check whether I'm currently frozen or not. And I could have an array of names or an array of strings of effect, I guess names, because apparently names are easier to iterate through in a string. or in a switch case, it's easier to evaluate a name than a string so far, or from what I've heard, allegedly. I could have an array of them, and if you're affected by multiple effects, then instead of having a bunch of booleans, but maybe a bunch of booleans works, maybe an array of bools, is this, is this, is this, is this, or we could have just an array of effects, or more like a vector of effects, where we can change how many elements are in it, but let's just say array, and we add an element for the effect, and once the effect expires, we search the array for that effect and we remove it because you're no longer affected by it. And every time I replicate the effects, or I replicate effects, and whenever we update it, then we do some local shit. And the reason I'm doing rep notify here is because not only do we need to know who's frozen in the game, well, I guess we don't, not really. We need to get this information to the local player though. How do we do that? Or how do we well, I guess not, huh? I guess we don't need this is frozen thing to be replicated to everybody because the movement is already replicated and that's what freeze does. It slows your movement and that's already replicated. So I'll see that you're moving slower even if this guy isn't replicated. So what if instead well, I need to update the visuals for this person only. If there's another character in the lobby and he gets frozen, I don't want to update my visual. Only when I do. So when I get frozen, I could have a function that I call, and that function updates the visual to be frozen or not frozen. Well, for setting to be frozen, well, eventually when we unset it, we also want to update the visual too. So I need a way of calling the visual to be updated whenever we're unfrozen. I could have that to be here. And either I could add that function in, but I still need this, or I could just put that function inside of is frozen. I chose to do that. That way, our visual only update. Why did I do that? Our visual only updates. That's what I meant to do. Only updates whenever when our character gets hurt. So I guess that's it. That's the state of the game now. I added freeze. Oh, the other thing that I'm proud of is freeze, recover. Before, I had it so that, stupidly, or what the fuck am I doing? Hold. Wait, what am I doing, bro? Oh, it's when we take damage, or hold on. What is happening here? Hold. What am I doing? Oh, so damage is the important part. So no, not here. It's when we're updating the visual. Hold, and we do that in health because it's replicated. And we could do that there and check, or we could just do it here. It makes more sense to just put it here, I think. So, wait, no, it's this. Okay, here we go. This is where we actually call it. In my health widget, my opacity guy, that's over the screen, and we set the opacity depending on how hurt you are. Before, it was using this default health color every time, always, which means when you heal, it's going to increment the opacity. It's going to increase the opacity a little bit and then set the final color to be that. And the color would never change. But now that the color changes from red to blue, if we heal and we come in and we heal, if it's still using the red color, you're still going to be frozen, but the second you heal at all, you're going to go back to red health. You'll still be hurt, you'll still be frozen, and you'll think, oh, I'm no longer frozen, I'm no longer blue, I can move at full speed now. Wrong. what we need to do is I changed it so that there's a target color. There's a current color, and then there's a color for being not hurt. There's a default color, and then or a color for not being affected by anything, no effects. And then there's another color for the freeze effect. And if I do another effect, then there's another color for that and whatever. And the point is now with whenever we're updating the opacity, or hold on. Actually, I have a function here that we call, excuse me. And whenever an effect gets set, I call this the set effect color. Hold on. Where's it at? Is it when we're doing the frozen? Hold on. Where do we even do it? Oh, yeah, I guess that's what it is. Yeah. So whenever we become frozen, we go and we call a function to update the color. And we're passing in freeze as the name. And actually, I'd rather have this be a literal and have it be freeze here. That way, if I accidentally delete this, I haven't lost the name. It's a safe redundancy that helps. Okay. So, whenever we, from the character, get frozen or unfrozen, we call in here and we pass in the effect. We might pass in nothing. And if it's nothing, then it's default. It resets the current color, the target color, to the default one. And boom. With the opacity stays, we go from whatever color we are to red like we normally should be. But if instead we're going from something to another color, we simply update that color and we don't fuck with opacity. Opacity stays the same. So I can call one function whenever I'm changing the color, and all I have to do is pass it the color and we're good. The opacity stays the same and we're fine. That means that whenever you get hurt, freeze, and I recover, I don't immediately go to red, because before I would be at like 75 HP, you take 25 damage from freeze. You're at 75 HP, and if I do recover, and I go to 75 and a half or 76 HP, the instant I'm there, the instant I heal at all, it would set back to the default color. But now it's based on this target color. So I'll take damage, and my color will be whatever color it should be. And if I recover, my color will stay whatever color it should be. And whenever the color changes, it changes live, which is awesome. So I could do fireball, freeze, recover, and I'm healing in mid-heal. Actually, I got to do it way later. Freeze lasts a long time. Freeze. Recover. See? We were still healing, and it switches back to the proper color exactly when it needs to. And then the heal can continually just keep increasing the opacity and not jolt the color to something else. I forget that that's a spell. Shield. Freeze. See? So, freeze. Nice. Freeze. Freeze. Recover. Freeze. 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 Okay. Recover. I'm going to make it smaller so it has to be kind of hit scan. Let's see how big it is. Spell freeze. If we bring it in. And I stand. Oh, actually, it's going to trigger the second it spawns. Duh. Okay, that doesn't work. No, that's not what we're deleting, please. Please, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to bring this to a smaller radius, 25. And yeah, so if you shoot it straight down, you're still going to hit yourself, which makes sense. If I'm looking straight down and I cast it, I'm going to hit my legs. So freeze, freeze, freeze. Cool. Looks good to me. Now I can remove the hidden part. I can rather make it hidden. Now we just see the thing. Freeze, freeze, freeze. There it goes. Fireball. Fireball. Freeze. And so you can do that too, which is fun. Cool. Fuck it. I'll leave it at one take. That was kind of sick. Okay. Bye bye.